Hey all, my name is Angelica Rubio, State Representative for District 35, representing the City of Las Cruces, and this is a legislative update. I am actually in Las Cruces at the moment. It's Saturday, February 1st. I drove in last night. Me and my dog, we just decided that we wanted to sleep in my own bed last night. So here we are. Much like you all, I'm sure, I am overwhelmed. I have been feeling a lot of things with everything that's kind of coming down at the federal level. And so on top of all of that, there's also everything that we're having to deal with when it comes to the state legislature. As I've shared, the legislative session started a couple weeks ago. This was the end of the first full week of the legislature and will be in session until March 22nd. Within these 60 days, a lot will be discussed. We will work to pass a budget, which is part of our requirement under the Constitution is to pass a budget. And then on top of that, we will hear and debate hundreds of bills that we have introduced in the House, and bills that will be coming over from the Senate side. I am working on a number of pieces of legislation. Of course, the modernization, legislative salaries, a couple housing bills, and some other pieces of legislation that are forthcoming. I'm not gonna lie. Late this week, especially, I've sat in committee just kind of thinking about what's the point of all of this when everything that is happening federally is it's just so overwhelming that I'm like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this right now? And at the same time, it's also been important to be around a lot of the people that I am around because, like I've said before in this space and how we've been sharing over the course of the last couple weeks, is we need community. We need to be around our people. And so I have some really good people up in Santa Fe while I'm up there. And so if anything, that's been helpful. But I think the thing that's been frustrating for me, that I will share with you all, is that and it's been a frustration of mine for quite some time, and it is being someone who is serving in the legislature, having come on as a community organizer, who is, I feel, deeply rooted in my community. Politically, I'm seen as somebody who is far left, and I don't mind if people, however people want to describe me, I don't mind. I think that I care about people, and I care about the planet, and I care about our water and our air. And if you want to call that radical, it's fine by me. I say that because it's hard serving in the legislature when you care so deeply about these issues, because we are in the middle of a federal government, an administration who is clearly doing some illegal things, participating in a coup that is going to be disastrous for the future of this country. And I don't feel like we're doing anything. I don't feel like the Democrats are doing anything. And it's frustrating to me because, in addition to that, I'm sitting in these committees hearing bills from Democrats or getting requests from Democrats to support legislation that is not in alignment with my values. I bring up CPAC, the Consumer and Public Affairs Committee, because this past week we heard bills that could have easily been written by Republicans, and were being sponsored by Democrats. And I've heard it most of my 8 years in the legislature, and I've heard it again numerous times this week about needing to bring Republicans over to support some of our pieces of legislation. I have to sit with that a lot because as I'm watching this administration essentially remove everything we've ever fought for over the course of the last, 50 some odd years when it comes to issues related to civil rights. We're watching them unravel all of that piece by piece over the course of the last 14 days. And I am being told to work with Republicans, or that I need some sort of bipartisan support for a piece of legislation that I'm carrying. Meanwhile, in the decade that I have been serving in the legislature, almost a decade serving in the legislature, never once have I ever heard a Republican say, you know what, we need Democrats on this. I share all of this, y'all, because I get so much pushback from folks about me pushing back so much on Democrats that I should be pushing back on Republicans. Except I know who Republicans are. Like, they've shown me who they are. I knew who Donald Trump was. I didn't support him. I will never support him. I have no loyalty to the Republican Party. I have no loyalty to the vision or beliefs that they have. Democrats, on the other hand, will side more with Republicans than they will with people like me, with legislators like me. And I think that's been the problem of the Democratic Party for so long, is that the party has prioritized bipartisanship and respectability politics more than actually listening to those of us on the left on how we can make our party better and actually engage working families, working people, and communities of color who are our base. Like, they are our people. And so I think it's important to just know that I think this is why it feels, I think a lot of times, for people like us to feel sort of isolated and alone in these moments, because we believe so deeply in our communities and how we protect our communities, that a party that we, especially me as a party that I grew up believing in so badly, and now feel like they're not doing enough. And so then what's the third way? Is really what I've been thinking about the last 2 weeks. I don't know what that third way is. I mean, a lot of leftists, I think, are having that conversation right now. Some that are productive, others that are not. But it's certainly something that I'm reflecting on as I lead, as I am a leader in this community, as I am a leader in the state, trying to think, okay, what's my role in this whole conversation? And it's a conversation that I think needs to happen, especially where we're at this moment, when we have like a tyrant who is essentially like a coup is occurring. I mean, it's something the U.S. would be upset about in another country, and yet it's happening here. I say all of this not to be sad, but that I think we're just in a moment right now where we have to really dig deep into that the two-party system it's not what's going to save us. Elected officials are not going to save us. Only community is going to save us, and we need to figure out what that looks like. But in the meantime, I will do what I can in the legislature, and I know that there are other legislators who are doing whatever they can to ensure that we're prioritizing you all and ensuring that you all get what you all deserve. For now, this is all I got are just words, but y'all, I'm ready to fight, and I need you all to be ready too, because it's going to be a long 60-day session. Talk soon. Peace.